So, the summer I turned 23. I had been graduated from college for a year, but was still living in my childhood bedroom. And I was ready for a change. I was ready for an adventure. And I figured, what better way to have one than to move away? I'd spent pretty much my whole life up to that point living in a suburb right outside of Buffalo, New York. But after a quick telephone interview, I was thrilled to accept a teaching job with Fauquier County Public Schools, which, according to their website, was a short 45 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. Jackpot. I was going to be living, practically, in a major city. And yeah, I planned to live in Fauquier County, wherever that was, during the week. But I figured every free moment, every night, every weekend, I would be living it up in the city. And I was sure I could make it there in less than 45 minutes. So if you're not familiar with Fauquier County, and it sounds like a couple of you are, which is awesome, you first have to leave DC to get there, step one. And then you head west, and you get to Centerville, and you get to Manassas, and you get to Gainesville, and then you just keep going. Fauquier has horses, it has strong southern accents, and it has lots of windy country roads that make it possible for school to be canceled if it even seems like snow is a mere possibility. It basically puts the Virginia in Northern Virginia. And Warrenton, where I was going to be living, was like the big central hub, the hot spot. So that meant we had a couple of chain restaurants. And we had 2 grocery stores. And we had a Blockbuster. It's pretty cool. What we didn't have, though, was a 45-minute drive to DC. So I tried to readjust where I was living. Instead of these wild city weekends I thought I'd be having, I wrapped my brain around the fact that I passed both the Tractor Supply Company and the Clark Brothers gun shop on my way to work every day. On the bright side, though, there were some really nice things about Warrenton. For one, my neighbors. They were so nice that all of those times it did snow, they would clear off my car before they left for work, and they'd even draw a little smiley face into my windshield with their snow brush. And my students, they were in high school, and they were nice. They were so nice, they called me ma'am. Unsarcastically called me ma'am. And they worried about my social life, maybe because they were also worrying about theirs at the same time. So they tried to come up with activities for me to do on the weekend. Go to Applebee's and hang out at the bar there, because they said they thought they knew that some guys hung out there and maybe I'd meet somebody. Sadly, I did take that suggestion a few times. The only guy who ever seemed to be there was this kind of quiet, burly man who sat at the bar, and he would fold his napkin into paper roses and then kind of pass them down my way. And that was very sweet, but after 2 years of that, I had to concede this wasn't exactly the adventure that I'd been seeking. And so as luck would have it, and at the same time, Sarah, who was one of my best friends from college, wanted to move to the area. And she was looking for someone to live with her around Arlington. So I figured this was my moment. And yes, I know technically Arlington is not the city, but I don't know, city with training wheels maybe, it's close enough for me. So I resigned from my job with Fauquier, I got a job with Fairfax, and I headed in to find the perfect place to live with her. And I was excited. I was excited the whole schlep, from Warrenton to Vienna to the metro. All I could think was I was gonna be legit. I was gonna be a city girl, no longer just coming in for the day to go to the Air and Space Museum like all the other sad suburban people. I was gonna belong. And that excitement lasted all the way until I met up with Sarah and we started to drive around to go look at our first place. The horn honking was aggressive. The traffic was frightening. The people, not so nice behind the wheel. I started to feel more than a little homesick for the quiet country roads that I'd been driving for the last couple of years. And then we looked at the first place, which was a sad high-rise overlooking a scary highway intersection, and the tour that we were getting was abruptly cut short when there were some visibly dead cockroaches all over the tile floor in the kitchen. The second place, much better, but in some kind of depressing suburban dead zone, not at all girl in the city like we were looking for, and also about $1 bajillion a month to rent. Place number 3, really scary group house. Porch littered with red Solo cups, furniture on the outside that was not outside furniture. I was really upset, kind of ready to cry at this point, because this had been our one day to find a good place to live, and we were now stuck with 3 places we didn't want. It's kind of maybe like being on an episode of House Hunters. So I got back in the car. We were heading back to Sarah's boyfriend's. All I could think about was my beautiful 3-story townhouse in Warrenton and how cheap it was to live there. Still though, I still had the night, and I was feeling really good about it because Sarah was gonna hang out with her boyfriend, but I was going out on the town. I was meeting up with a friend from high school who lived in the area, and as I got my going out outfit ready to put on, which consisted of this white kind of slinky shirt, spaghetti straps, went a little dangerously low in the front, I thought about all my future Saturday nights, which would not be spent at the Applebee's. And I rummaged around for my strapless bra, which was a necessary part of this outfit. And it wasn't there. Super. This day just kept getting better and better. I knew I really could not wear the shirt without it. Her boyfriend clearly didn't have an extra laying around I could borrow. I didn't have time to go out and get another one. And so Sarah swooped into my rescue and said, I think if you just put on some Band-Aids, you can probably get away with it. Really? Band-Aids? Yeah, I've done it before and it was okay. I wasn't really sure about this, and I could have just kept on wearing what I already had on, but it was kind of like a sweaty t-shirt, did not at all fit my big night in the city image. And I just wanted one thing that day to go the way that I thought that it would. So I slapped on my Band-Aids and headed out for a wonderful evening. As soon as I got to the metro stop across the street, I noticed there was a big group of guys kind of hanging out at the top of the escalator, just sort of surveying everyone who walked by. And I instantly felt a little bit nervous, kind of like I was back in middle school. I was going to walk by like the popular boy table in the cafeteria. But they smiled, they said hi, I said hi, kind of nodded, and as I was almost all the way by them, and just kind of chiding myself maybe for being so silly to think they were even paying attention to me, I heard it. The words every woman dreams of hearing spoken about her. Oh shit! She's got Band-Aids on her titties! Seemed that the early evening sunlight and my white shirt combination hadn't really come off quite as smoothly as I'd hoped. So, while they roared with laughter, I got myself down that escalator as fast as humanly possible on 2 little high heels. And the whole way down, all I could think about was what a huge mistake this move was seeming to be. Between the traffic and the high prices and the congestion and the assholes. Maybe Warrenton wasn't so bad. Part of me wanted to just pack up and go home that night, but that would have meant having to go back up out of the station and pass those guys again, which was not happening. And it would mean that I was missing out on much needed alcohol and laughter with my friend that night. So I decided to keep going, but I was just going to avoid eye contact and interaction with anyone else until I found my friend. And with that mindset, I headed over to buy my metro ticket when I heard a woman's voice say, "Excuse me." Oh, seriously? Now what? I'm just going to ignore her. So I did. I just kept staring at the ground, but she persisted. Excuse me, do you want this? Oh, great. She probably thinks I'm some dumb tourist trying to give me a pamphlet or a newspaper or some kind of scam. So in my bitchiest, least Warrenton-esque voice, I said, "I'm not interested." Okay, Well, my plane leaves in a couple hours. Have some money left on my Metro card. Just thought you might want this. Oh. My face now bright red. I look up and try to stammer out some kind of an apology and don't really get too far before she just kind of pushes the card into my hand and leaves to go up the escalator before I can warn her about the guys at the top. When I did end up moving a couple weeks later into that wonderful group house, I left behind tractors and Southern accents, but I did bring with me a heart that was fully open to seeing all the positives in my new home. And I also remembered to bring my strapless bra. Thank you.